And we spoke to about a dozen people walking around on the street, picked at random, and all of them told me they were going to vote Labour. This isn't a Labour stronghold seat, but only one person actually knew who Keir Starmer was. So that was quite an interesting litmus test, perhaps. But on policy, and that is what a lot of people want to see from Keir Starmer, he talked about a devolution bill to get power out of London. He talked about a long-term plan for energy. He talked about repealing anti-strike legislation that the government are talking about. But on strikes, there was no clarity on how they would deal with the issue of pay, particularly nurses' pay. That is what a lot of people want to see. The government are calling this a botched reboot. Here's James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary.
Well, what the Prime Minister put forward were 5 very clear, measurable goals that we will pursue in government and we can be held to account for. What we saw from Keir Starmer, as I say, was a whole load of nothing. No firm commitments. The only commitment he did make was one that he's already broken. He said that he wouldn't go reaching for the chequebook, but we've already seen 90 billion pounds worth of unfunded spending commitments from the Labour Party. That will have to be found through taxation of ordinary people. That works out about £3,000 per family. So the only thing we did hear from that speech was a complete contradiction about Labour's spending plans.
So I think what we saw from Keir Starmer was an attempt to strike the balance between criticising the government and also strike an optimistic tone. He talked about his pride in the British public, the faith he has. He said there is light at the end of the tunnel. He knows that the stakes are high, that he needs to cement Labour's polling lead. But it does feel, I have to say, year and a half, 2 years out from a general election, like both Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer are starting to get on election footing, starting to get in campaign mode. And another day, another speech from a leader, as I say, his emphasis that he is a candidate for change.